Hello, for any new players who are just starting Pressure, I'm going to explain this in the shortest and fastest way possible. You're a prisoner in prison who was hit up by this company and asked if you wanted your freedom back. So, being a prisoner, you obviously said yes. Well, guess what? Now you got to get their lightsaber crystal back. And unfortunately, there's a lot of monsters down there who really love your personal space. That would be the fastest and shortest way to explain the game Pressure. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to explain this thing a lot more thoroughly. So please enjoy the video. First up, let's start with the entities. Now, there are way too many entities and variants, so I'm just going to explain the main ones. First up, we have the Angler. This guy, out of most of the monsters, loves your personal space the most, as he appears the most frequently. Also, apparently, this guy isn't even alive. He's just smoke, like a hallucination or something. But he is the most simple to counter in the game. All you gotta do is just hide in the locker if you see any lights flickering. It's really that simple. Next up, we have Pandemonium. I think I said that right. So this guy is actually a lot more tricky compared to the Angler. Despite looking and working similar to him, this guy is a lot more faster depending on how you look at it. So in order to actually arrive to you, he takes way slower, but as soon as he sees you, he will literally lock onto you like a missile. He will not stop chasing you until he gets you. And it becomes even worse if he sees you get into a locker, because then it's going to start an annoying minigame, and assuming you die the first time you encounter him, he can get quite annoying later on in the game. We also have an entity called Good People. He's basically just dupe from doors, but slightly easier and harder to detect at the same time. You can go near a wall right next to a door if you suspect it's him. If you hear any noises like breathing, then that's him. Despite actually being kind of easy to detect and find, somehow encountering him and going in the wrong door will deal a lot of damage to you, a fatal amount. I like to call them Discord mods based on how they look. Next up, we have Squiddles. These annoying little pieces of black slime are Screech from doors. If they were more annoying and appeared twice as much. Looking at them slowly makes them angry. Once they go 100% angry, they will attack you. Same goes with shining any form of light at them, but it's sped up, giving you only a few seconds to react. If Splatoon was a horror game, they would be those kind of squids. And now, for one of the easiest monsters to counter, we have Eyefestation. This guy is not an actual monster, but rather a mutated bull shark. He works a lot like Eyes from Pressure, only he drags your screen, which forces you to look at him. Also, shining a light beacon makes him easier to deal with. Trust me, just trust me, that works. Now we have the community's favorite, not really a monster, but more rather a helper, Sebastian. This is basically the item shop. There are currencies laid out around the game. Hoping you got enough, you can actually buy some good stuff from Sebastian. Sometimes he might even stock up rare items. I'm not going to tell you what they are because that's for you to find out. Next up, we have the boss of the game. I'm not really sure how to explain this guy in a simple way. All I can say is to just avoid his lights and make sure you're fast enough. After that, assuming you've made it this far, we reach the end of the game. After you retrieve the company's lightsaber crystal, the game will throw everything they have at you. God batteries or a hand-cranked flashlight? If not, good luck, because all those rooms are guaranteed dark after you get the crystal. The difficulty spike actually kills a lot of people at that point, so you must be pretty good if you want to beat it. After you do get to the final part of the game, you must now go out in the ocean and fix about 7 giant cords. The number of cords increases depending on how many people there are. Remember that boss fight from Door 50? Well, there's 3 of them now. After you somehow don't die, you can just safely walk back to your submarine, and at that point, the story says you are not only free from prison, but also rewarded some big time cash. In return, you cannot tell anybody about what happened. And that's kind of the end of it. I hope you enjoyed this video. This took me a long time to make, so I kindly ask you like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.
Hey, you should let me inside of the video.
Nah, you're not going to my video, buddy.